Hello everyone, welcome with me, Adrian Syal. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Adrian Syal. My student ID is B1024201011. I'm a student of Management International Class, Faculty of Economy and Business, Universitas Tanjungpura. The reason why I'm joining Zoom meeting for today's class is because I want to explore more about HRM and today's topic discussion. For today, we are gonna discuss topic about recruiting and labor market. Recruitment is a process of actively seeking out, finding, hiring candidate for a specific position or job. Recruiting must be viewed strategically as tied to HR planning, and discussion should be held about the relevant labor market in which to recruit. In this topic, we also discuss how important recruitment and how we can attract more applicants in an organization. Before we jump to our main topic, I have 3 references video for you guys. So here is the first video. The first video is talking about recruitment. On the first video, the speaker explained about the definition of recruitment, which is the process of generating a pool of qualified candidate for a job. This video also taught me that it's very important to have a strong employment brain. The process recruitment includes 3 primary elements, which is planning, job posting, and communication. And the method of recruitment is contain searching candidate to job from internal and external method. The lesson that I learned on this first video is the video taught me about the definition, process, and method of recruitment. The first video also taught me about the advantage and disadvantage of the methods of each recruitment and how important for a company to have a strong employment brain to reach more applicants. So the second video is talking about the 3 most widely used methods for recruitment. So the second video talk about 3 methods of recruitment. The first one is IQ or GMA test. IQ is the best predictor for academic success, learning abilities, and how successful employee in work. The second method is unstructured employment interview, which means an interview from the manager with their own question and assessment. The third recruiting method is a structured employment interview, which is combined of structured interview with a GMA test. The second video taught me 3 methods of recruiting with the advantage and disadvantage, and I think the method that should be the organization use is the third one, which is structured employment interview. This will help you predict the performance of worker in the future, and this also will lower bias interview, which is unfair in the recruitment. For the third video is talking about recruitment process. So last video or the third video talking about process in the recruitment. The first step is defining the role, job description, and qualification. Next step is build a profile of the ideal person for the job. Next step is attracting applicant, find a suitable candidate and good quality applicant, and use the right method in recruitment to get a relevant and necessary information of applicant. And after this stage, the next step is selecting the right candidate or choose the right person after the interview done. What can I learn from this video is this video taught me about the process of the best, how to do the best recruitment to get the right candidate, and the most important guideline that I get from this video is need to be fair in the recruitment with help of business advisor or other so there is no bias in the interview for the sake of equality and diversity issues. So we jump to our main topic. So what is recruitment according to the 3 experts? So the first one is by Edwin Flippo. Recruitment is the process of searching for prospective employee and stimulating them to apply for a job in the organization. The second one is by DeSenso and Robbins. It is the process of discover potential candidate for the future, actual or anticipated for job vacancies. Another perspective is that is linking activity which bring together organization those with job to fill and people those are seeking job. And the third one is by Pumbly. It is a process to meet the capacities of candidate with the demand of the organization. The inclination of qualified candidates should also match with the reward and the benefit of organization are willing to provide in the job. So for the second question is recruitment is important? Why? So recruitment is very important. Why? It is because recruitment aids in categorizing applicants as underqualified or overqualified. This helps to streamline the process and making it simpler to select person who would be ideal for the job and would contribute to the company growth. So there is a HR headline in a book of Human Resource Management by Mathis and John H on page 177. HR headline on page 177 talking about passive recruiting become active. This headline taught me a lot of knowledge and insight about what is passive job seeker and how organizations encourage passive to become active. Employee individuals who may not be considering other jobs but who are recruited are called passive job seeker. What I learned from this headline is passive recruiting growing rapidly at this time, where the method that is often used to do a passive recruiting is via internet, considering the technology that is currently developing. In this headline, I also learned that it's very good to do a passive recruiting, which is to find someone with a sufficient qualification for the organization. For firm to search and fill job with a person who are not actively looking for a job means that they have to use variety of means to encourage the passive to become active worker. What does recruiting require an employer to do? So what does the employer must to do? The first one is know the industry and where to successfully recruit qualified employee. The second one is identify key to success in the labor market, including competitor recruiting effort. The third one is cultivate a relationship with a source of prospective employees. The fourth one is promote the company brand so that the employer is known as the good place for a work. To do a good recruitment, there is a training of recruiter and manager. What I know about this is training on recruiter is related to activities, communication skill, and job specific detail is common. Recruiters should be aware of the type of action that violate EEO regulation and how to be sensitive to diversity issues with applicant. Training in recruiter may include the importance of employer engaging in ethical behavior during the recruiting effort. To assess ethical behavior when recruiting college graduate, some employers send follow-up survey to interview, asking about the effectiveness of the recruiter and the image of the candidate have of the employers as the result of the recruiting contracts. After we're talking about recruitment, there is labor market. What is a labor market component? So labor market component consists of, the first one is labor force population, which is made up of an individual who are available for selection if all possible recruitment strategy are used. The second one is applicant population, is a subset of the labor force population that is available for selection if a particular recruiting sport is used. The third one is applicant pool, consists of all persons who are actually evaluated for selection. And the fourth one is individual selected, the person that been selected. Next question is, what are the considerations for determining applicant population? The first one is number and type of recruit needed. The second one is timing of recruiting to ensure timely placement. The third one is external and internal message on job details. The fourth one is qualification of the competent applicant to be considered. The fifth one is source of for obtaining the qualified applicant. The sixth one is outside and inside recruiting means to be used. And the seventh one is administrative recruiting and application review activities. Recruiting in a small company can be challenges. Recruiting for a small company can be a challenge. For example, a professional would prefer to work in a large company than a small company. Small company will have to work intensively to identify which professional would prefer to work in a small company or a large company. One of the key of this company or small company hiring effort is to clearly identify the unique characteristic of working at a smaller company, which include a greater variety of tasks, more work flexibility, and a better career possibility. Those characteristics will appeal to some of them, but not all of them, which may apply. We already talked about the component of labor market, but we don't know what is the definition of that. So labor market refers to the supply of and demand for labor in which employee provide the supply and employer provide the demands. Labor market can be categorized by geography area, industry, occupation, qualification, and other characteristics. When we discuss about recruitment and labor market, there is some term that we must understand in case to deepening our knowledge about this topic. So the first one is recruiting presence and image. What is that? Recruiting presence and image refer to the company image, branding, present to stand out from the competitors. This means finding way to engage with your audience and follower, as well as showcasing your company in a positive light so that people will follow you and be interested to applying for a position within your company. The second one is employment branding and image. What is that? The employment brand or image of an organization is the view of it held by both employee and outsider. The third one is professional employer organization and employee leasing. Professional employer organization, or PEO, is an organization that enter into a joint employment relationship with an employer by leasing employee to the employer, thereby allowing PEO to share and manage many employee-related responsibility and liabilities. Employee leasing is a contractual arrangement in which is in the leasing company, also known as professional employer organization, PEO, is the official employer. The next term is regular versus flexible staffing. Regular staffing is the function of recruiting, screening, and selecting employee in the organization or business to fill job vacancy with a traditional recruitment culture. Meanwhile, flexible staffing is the practice to fill vacancies in employment. Flexible staffing may lead to recruiting in a different market, since it includes to use temporary worker and independent contractor. Next is temporary worker. Temporary worker refers to a worker where the work arrangement is limited to a certain period of time based on the need of the employing organization. Next one is independent contractor. Independent contractor is a neutral party or third party who provide a service to a client and work in accordance with an employment contract. The next term is recruiting and EEO diversity consideration. The recruiter must consider EEO and diversity factor for several reasons. Recruiting as a key employment-related activity is subject to a various consideration, especially equal employment law and regulation. The growth in the workforce diversity also means that a wider range of potential employment sources should be utilized. The next term is internet recruiting. Internet recruiting is the act of searching the internet to locate both actively searching job seeker and also individuals who are contained in the current position. These are called passive candidates. The next term is e-recruiting. E-recruiting is the process of attracting, assessing, choosing, recruiting, and onboarding people through the use of web-based technologies. The next one is recruiting and internet social networking. The internet has led to the social networking of individuals on blog, Twitter, and a range of websites. Social networking sites allow job seekers to connect with employees of a potential hire. There is a HR job on book Human Resource Management on page 190. HR on the job on page 190 talking about effective recruiting using an employer website. This tells me about employer of organization might increase effectiveness in recruiting through a company website. This will enhance the image of their company and their job. There is some guideline for effective website, namely make the site easy to navigate, include information that people want, use qualifying categories, use self-assessment to ask candidate experience and interest, easy to apply for the job, design the site profile recruiter with an additional way to post job, and lastly is to collect metric on the site. Next question, how do you do recruiting using spatial technology mean? If I become a recruiter in an organization to take advantage of use spatial technology, then I will attract, assessing, choosing, recruiting, and finding a qualified employee with a wider reach using social media or website. The social media that I might use is the currently trending social media such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and from website like blog, official organization website, and job seeker site or application. A lot company or organization in nowadays is do internet recruiting. A lot of people may be questioning what is the advantage or the disadvantage of internet recruiting. So the advantage of internet recruiting, a primary one, is that many employers have saved money using internet recruiting versus other recruiting methods such as newspaper advertising, employee agency, and search firm. All of which can cost substantially more. Another major advantage is that a very large pool of applicants can be generated using internet recruiting. Individual may view an employer more positively and using more useful information, which can result in a more individual application. Meanwhile, the disadvantage of internet recruiting is namely because of broader exposure. Internet recruiting often create additional work for HR staff member and other internally. And another issues with internet recruiting is that some applicants may have limited internet access, especially individuals from lower socioeconomic group and from certain racial or ethnic group. Because we're talking about internet recruiting, there is something called external recruiting source. So what is that? The external source of recruitment means hiring people from the outside of the organization. In other words, seeking applicants from those who are external from the organization. External recruiting is part of the effective HR staffing. The advantage of external recruiting source is the first one, new source bring new perspective or point of view in an organization. The second one, training new hire may be cheaper and faster because of prior of external experience. The third one is new hire are likely to have a fewer internet political supporter in the firm. The fourth one, the new hire may bring new industry insight and expertise. So meanwhile, the disadvantage of external recruiting source, namely the first one, the firm may not select someone who will fit well with the job or the organization. The second one, the process may cause moral problem for internet candidate not selected. The third one, new employee might require longer adjustment period as well as orientation effort. So for an effective recruiting advertising, there is several things need to be included for it. So the first thing to include in an effective recruiting ad is information on the job and on the application process, which is information for the job that been offered, like job title and responsibility, geographic, flexible or location of job, starting pay range, acceptance of online application, and so on. Next is desired candidate qualification, which is contain the qualification that we want of the applicant, like years of experience, characteristic, and etc. And the last one is information on the organization, which is the information about our organization, like culture, EEO, employer, primary business capabilities, and unique characteristic of our organization. So after I read up this chapter, which talking about recruiting and labor market, I think this chapter is very interesting because it taught me a lot of things and give me the insight and information that very useful and widening my knowledge about recruiting and labor market. This chapter taught me that recruiting is a process of attracting, assessing, choosing, recruiting and hiring candidate for a specific position and job. And when we're talking about recruiting labor, there is a labor market which is referred to the supply of and demand for labor, in which employee provide the supply and employer provide the demand. Today's chapter also show me how important internet means in recruiting, which is more easier and can reach a lot of people that will give a new point of view for organization. And this chapter show me that diversity in recruiting will give a lot advantage in the organization. So we arrive to a closing comment. So in conclusion, the main topic of discussion today are recruitment and the labor market. These two things are interrelated because recruitment is a process to hire worker and the labor market is the market target or the thing that show population of prospective worker to carry out recruitment. I get a lot of knowledge and the information for today's discussion. Start from definition, component, advantage, disadvantage, what is the current state of recruitment such as internet recruitment, external recruitment, and so on. I found today's discussion is so great in the human research management class today because I can hear many opinions from sir and friend. If I am going to work as a HR staff in the future of in an organization, I would like to apply the lesson that I learned today about recruitment to hire the right person for my organization. This is done with intention to hiring quality employee who can be the future of my organization and can lead growth in my organization. That's all from me. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.